More than 20 years ago, Carrefour opened up the first hypermarket in Romania. It was the first retailer to come in Romania with a hypermarket. In retail, technology can make huge difference. The retailers has to be fast. They have to provide a perfect customer experience across all channels. They have to have clean operations from the moment they take the product to the moment the product gets to the customer. And that's where the technology knocks to the door. It comes and they can solve a lot of problems. I like to say that I do tech for business, not tech for tech, and bring value to the business through technology. Where do I spend most of my time is understanding how I can do that, speaking with the business, understanding the business processes, and bringing the technology that will help that particular problem.
This is CIONET TV. My name is Hendrik Deckers. I'm here today with Gabriela Stanica, who is the Chief Information, the Chief Data Officer, and the e-commerce director at Carrefour Romania. A very warm welcome, Gabriela.
Thank you, Hendrik. Great to be here.
Gabriela, you have a Master in Mathematics from the University of Bucharest, where we are today, and you worked 13 years at Avon in different IT positions. You were the CIO of Vodafone Romania, the head of marketing IT Europe and North Africa at BAT. And since 2020, you were selected as the CIO of Carrefour Romania. So Gabriela, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Why the hell did you go into IT? Who are you? What's your background? And how did you arrive in this position?
Sure. First of all, I'm 44. Mm-hmm. I'm married. I have a child. She's 7 years old only. Mm-hmm. I was quite lazy, so she came late, but at least she came. I love music, and my favorite city in the world is New York. Mm-hmm. I was born in a small city from Romania. Mm-hmm. My father was a math teacher. He was my model. I wanted to follow his footsteps, so I went to the University of Bucharest, studying mathematics here in Bucharest with the intention to become a math teacher. Okay. That was my dream as a child. As I got closer to graduating university, I decided to switch to technology because it was close. And back then, it was an exciting field to be in. Not that it's not today, but back then it was something new. And it was a male-dominated one.
Still today, but back in the days, much more.
Back in the days, much more. Yep. If I look back at my university days, out of 100 students, there were probably 5 women, out of which 2 was me and my twin sister. I have a twin sister. So I graduated math. I decided to switch to technology, and my first job was in a company for women, Avon Cosmetics. Okay. I was the first woman in IT, in Avon Cosmetics in Romania. And I started from the bottom, really. I was a developer. And I worked hard. I had different positions in Avon. And at some point, I got offered the IT director role for Mobile Center of Excellence in New York.
New York. What an exciting opportunity.
Exactly. I was 35. I moved to New York. And I had the experience of my life, both professionally and personally. I grew as a leader there. And I learned a lot from a personal point of view. And music. It was a lot of music in New York, I have to admit it. Then I moved back to Romania. And after 13 years of beauty, technology for beauty in Avon Cosmetics, yep, I decided to make a change. I was curious to see what is out there. I moved to telecom. Mm-hmm. I was the CIO of Vodafone Romania for 1 year. It was a tough role. Different speed, different expectations, high tech, and I learned a lot of resilience. Okay. A lot of resilience, a lot of technology, and again, a male-dominated area, especially in telecom. Yep. I moved to London for 2 years in British American Tobacco, a great company to work for. Again, another personal and professional experience. Mm-hmm. And pandemic came. Okay. Pandemic found me in London in 2020, and in the same year, I got approached by Carrefour Romania, and I said yes. I said yes because I wanted to come back home, first of all. And secondly, because retail is such a dynamic field. And Carrefour Romania, I knew back then, and I know more now, that is the most innovative retailer from the Romanian market. Yeah. In retail, technology can make huge difference. The retailers has to be fast. They have to provide a perfect customer experience across all channels. Yep. They have to have clean operations from the moment they take the product to the moment the product gets to the customer. And that's where the technology knocks to the door. It comes and they can solve a lot of problems. So here I am. After 1 year in Carrefour as a CIO, I extended my role. I took over the responsibility of data, which is huge in retail as well. Innovation. So I was in charge with innovation, and I'm still in charge with innovation. And starting this year, so year 2, I became responsible of e-commerce. So beyond IT, I took over a business responsibility, e-commerce, which is one of the strategic priorities for Carrefour, as we will discuss.
So Carrefour, a household name, we all know it as a big retailer. Tell us a bit about Carrefour Romania. Where do we need to position that?
Carrefour Romania, first of all, is an innovator. They've always been like that since the beginning. More than 20 years ago, Carrefour opened up the first hypermarket in Romania. It was the first retailer to come in Romania with a hypermarket. New concept for Romania back then, and since then, we grew up to over 300 stores. As of today, we have over 300 stores, different formats, proximity hypermarket, supermarket, and we also invested a lot in building up online business.
Okay. So what is it that Carrefour does really, really well?
So Carrefour is an innovator. Carrefour always been an innovator in the retail, in the market. And I would like to speak about the omnichannel experience that Carrefour creates and about the technology that we used since very early days in order to enhance the customer experience. Yeah. So speaking about omnichannel, first of all, Carrefour came to Romania more than 20 years ago with the first hypermarket. And since then, we evolved at over 300 stores. We now have all formats in the entire country. Yep. It's proximity, it's supermarket, it's hypermarket, and it's also online. Yep. In the online channel, we invested since 2015. When Carrefour created Bringo, which is a personal shopper that brings all the products from the hypermarket to your door in 90 minutes.
Okay. 90 minutes?
It was huge during the pandemic. We grew a lot during the pandemic. So what you basically do, you download your application, you place the order from the closest hypermarket. Again, you have 50,000 SKUs to your fingertips. You will have a personal shopper that goes into the store. They will select the products as you select the products. In 90 minutes, it's going to be up to your door. Okay. I would like to highlight that this concept was exported outside Romania as well. So we launched it in Romania from a technology point of view, from a business point of view, from a process point of view. Yep. It was so successful that it got exported outside Romania, Belgium included.
Yeah, because it's not something that not invented in Belgium, I think. So tell us, Carrefour in general, retail business in general, and Carrefour in Romania, what are the main business challenges? You already touched on being really an omni-channel company is important. And so I can imagine that it's really about going from a classical retail company to a digital retail company. What are really the challenges of becoming a digital retail company?
Indeed. I want to go back a bit to November last year when our CEO declared the ambition of Carrefour to become a digital retail company by 2026. That means that digital is going to be the growth driver of Carrefour, and it's going to bring a lot of value in Carrefour. We went through a transformation over the last 3 years. We did quite a lot, and I'll mention just 3 points. We tripled the business through e-commerce food in 3 years. We went from 0 cloud adoption to 30% cloud adoption, and we invested a lot in data. We have one of the biggest data lakes in retail. It's over 8 billion transactions, out of which Romania, by the way, does over 500,000 per day. So what is the challenge now? The challenge is to continue the transformation and become the best digital retailer in the world by 2026. How we are going to do that? It's about people, it's about way of working, and last is about technology. I'll speak a bit about the way of working. I was reading a research from McKinsey who was saying that the biggest issue that the majority of the retailers are having in the way of working, except Walmart and Amazon, who are most like a tech company, it is the silo way of working within the company. There are walls between the IT department and the business department. Moreover, there is little tech knowledge in-house. It's outsourced to the providers, right? And it creates a lot of delays and a lot of problems, right? You want to be fast, you want to innovate, you want to transform. You do not have the right technology people in-house, and if you have it, you work in a very old-fashioned way, where IT is behind the wall and business is throwing the requirements to IT. It takes time, and then IT goes to the third-party provider, who goes to another developer, and so on. So it's a never-ending discussion, and by the time you deliver something to the customer, the developer doesn't even know what he's coding for, right? What is he coding for? So that's a big challenge, to change the way of working within Carrefour and become a product-based company, and have technology an integral part of the business. Have IT a real partner that understands what do they do, why do they do it, and what is the impact on the business side. It's a product mindset, it's a simple concept, but
that's very difficult to implement.
Very difficult one, yes.
And where are you in that journey?
We started actually, and we have more to do. Since I came to Carrefour Romania, I insourced good technical knowledge from the market. It wasn't easy because it was during the pandemic when people were not willing to make a change. The demand on the IT resources was high and so on. But I brought a lot of good technical people. I'm proud of my team currently. And now we are starting to move towards the product mindset. So that's one. Second one, of course, is technology. And the biggest challenge is, how do you balance keeping the lights on and supporting the business as usual needs versus transforming the entire ecosystem to become fully cloud? How do you transform that architecture and you build it for scale and speed while doing the things that business needs tomorrow, right? So on a day-to-day basis, we are facing with, do I build this feature on this application, which was coded 6 years ago and is not cloud native? Or do I refactor the application, I put it in the cloud? But will business be willing to wait? No. Do I have money to do both in parallel?
No.
No. So it's a very interesting trade-off that we have to make on a daily basis to do what business needs in order to sell, in order to survive the tough competition, while transforming the technology to support the ambition on the digital architecture side.
Okay. And do you have a lot of bespoke work in your IT, or you rely on packages, platforms as well?
I'm very happy you asked the question, actually, yes. So traditionally, retailers, as I said, the development is not done in-house, right? The development is done outside, and we have a mix of bespoke solution and out-of-the-shelf solutions. And it's very interesting because the big retailers are actually now building applications in-house. They see it as a competitive advantage to own the code, to be better than anyone else, to do things differently. So that's going to be the big challenge for us as well. How do we do that? Are we going to insource more technology, more developers in-house? Are we going to start building more solutions specific for Carrefour? That's the big challenge. And you know, in terms of steps at the group level, we are building a smart point of sale in-house.
Okay. Your own point of sale?
Our own point of sale.
But then for the whole group?
For the whole group.
Okay.
The project started, so it's going to revolutionize the point of sale, the experience in all the Carrefour markets. Yep. It's built at the group level, and hopefully it's going to come to Romania in no less than, not more than 2 years from now.
Because I understand that typically Carrefour is pretty independent on local country level, no?
That's
and
true.
There's not a lot of standardized IT systems and so on, correct?
That's correct. It comes with goods and bads, right?
Yeah, of course.
As a CIO of Romania, I have a team in Romania. I report to the CEO of Romania, and I have the freedom to decide what technology do I pick, with whom do I build that technology, based on the business needs. But that happens in each and every market, right? So our CTO, global CTO, and within the CIO communities, we started to think through how do we change this mindset? How do we build once and use multiple times across the market so that we don't spend the money at each and every market level. We don't build a solution 10 times for the same experience.
Huge opportunity to use the economy of scale and to reuse applications and to standardize on platforms and cloud and so on and so on. Let's talk a bit more about cloud. You say, what is your long-term vision? You believe that Carrefour Romania can be a 100% cloud company? Is that or is that relevant, irrelevant?
That's the ambition by 2026 to be fully cloud.
Okay.
That's the ambition. We started the journey. It's not easy because we have a lot of obsolescence, a lot of old technologies. We have to refactor the application. It's going to be a journey. We'll see. We'll see. I have good people and we have support. We have the partnership with Google to make it happen. Okay. So yes, by 2026, that's the ambition, to be fully cloud.
Okay. So that's cloud. So we talked about technology. We talked about the way that you operate. Let's talk about data as well. That must be very close to your heart, right? So what's your vision around Carrefour Romania becoming really, really data-driven, and how do you approach that?
In retail, the good part is that we have a lot of data. A lot of data is first-party data that we can also monetize. Right? We started and we have a program at the group level, which is digital retail media. It's called Carrefour Links. We are partnering with Criteo and LiveRamp to monetize the data with our suppliers.
So that means that you can summarize what your customers are buying, what they're buying together, what the trends are, and so on, and sell that knowledge to the product companies?
Yes, and this is all done by following the GDPR rules.
Of course, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a thing that is ongoing on the data side. Yeah. You are talking about challenges, right? With a lot of data, a lot of systems, a lot of custom-made, a lot of vendors. Yeah. The big challenge is the data governance and the quality of the data. Yeah. And this is something that we are working on right now, to govern our data, to have a proper data catalog, and to be able to consume the data in order to get insights and predict what's going to happen. So you were asking me about what is my vision. We are working on a lot of things right now to use the data on the benefit of the business. Yeah. We are working to optimize the price and promotion in the store. Yeah. And that's going to be at the store level, at the category level, at the store type. So we are compiling a lot of information from within Carrefour, from the history, from outside. So
that you have dynamic pricing, depending on the hour of the day or the day of the week, I could have different prices.
That's the vision. That's the vision, to have dynamic prices and to have personalized
pricing,
promotion and offers for the customer, whether he's in the store or he's in online. So that can only be done through data, through good quality data. The other one is, and I touched a bit about on a personalized approach, right? We think that more than 80% of the customer basket on the grocery side can be predicted.
Can imagine that, yes.
So that's what we are working on right now, to build algorithms that will predict what is the customer going to buy. When?
If I walk into your shop, you already know 80% of what I'm going to buy.
Correct.
And that you can help me to make that more efficient.
And I can help you to make that more efficient, and I can give you potentially special prices. So that I can incentivize you to become loyal and come to Carrefour, because I know you. I know what you do. I know what you like, when you like, and then I will meet that need of the customer in the store and in online.
Great, Gabriela. We talked about cloud. We talked about changing the way that you work. We talked about data. What's happening in the stores? How can you make the automated stores more than what's happening today?
So at the store level in Romania, and I think it's not only in Romania, right? We are struggling to find resources. That's the reality, right?
Okay.
That's a huge demand of human resource.
Even here in Romania?
Even here in Romania.
Wow.
And with the speed that Carrefour is expanding, the number of stores that we are opening, right? It's hard to find people to work in the store. Hard to find, and there are probably more exciting roles than being in a store. So with technology, we have to improve the efficiency in the store. It's critical. We started to implement self-checkout a while ago. In 2021, Carrefour was the first one to open the first hypermarket with 100% self-checkout technology. We are implementing electronic shelf labels, which are going to be, the price of the product is going to be updated instantly. Yep. You don't have to print, you don't have to run around in the store, and so on and so forth.
That's a big one.
That's a big one, yes.
Yep.
And we are also working with Group to create an automated store. It's actually created already. We have Carrefour Flash in France, which is an autonomous store, Amazon type, where you go, you buy, and you get out of the store, and you pay instantly.
Yep.
So the concept is there, the technology is there. Now it's just about rolling it out in additional countries.
And you see that as a big future, that people want the convenience just to walk into the store, pick whatever they want, walk out, and...
Yes, I think so. I think so. During the pandemic, for example, what we noticed was that people, they went to the store, but they wanted to have as less interaction as possible with the cashiers, with the people in the store, and so on. So I believe the young generations are going to embrace that very fast.
Okay. Let's talk more about automation. We're here in the headquarters in Bucharest of UiPath, who are in the business of building software robots and so on and so on. So where are you in your journey in implementing automation software and in what domains are you applying that?
First of all, I think automation is vital. And it's very often associated with efficiency, with decreased cost, with quality. I think it's more than that. I think having automated operations in a company, for example, in IT is busy with keeping the lights on, right? So if you automate that work and you free up the resources to do something else, you're gonna have a big competitive advantage, especially in the time where there is lack of IT resources on the market. Why hire someone that will do a job that it's repetitive, right? You automate that role. It's a big competitive advantage to have automation up and running. From a resource perspective, from a retention, from an attrition point of view. Where we are in the journey, we did implement automation for HR processes and for finance. HR, why HR? Because we are over 16,000 employees in Carrefour. Hiring
is a big job.
It's a big job. Even, setting up the interview with so many people. When you open a hypermarket, we're talking about thousands of people, right? They have to apply. The HR manager had to select the CVs. They have to schedule the interview and so on and so on. So we have a bot that does that. You can go on the website. You can place you can candidate for the right store, the right role, and so on. And then the appointment is going to be done automatically in the right location. We did it on finance as well because we have very complex business, right? With tons of invoices, reconciliations, and so on. So we have a lot of bots. We even gave them some names, like Emma. And we are going to continue with automation in the IT. So we have to do something in IT to automate the repetitive tasks. We are going to do automation and more artificial intelligence in the store, even for self-checkout, fraud detection, automatic shelf replacement as well. It's a big one as well, right? To put the product on the shelf in the right moment so that customer doesn't come there and they see the shelf empty. So we will continue with that. We'll continue with the price optimization, and we will continue with the automation of the logistics. That's the plan for the next couple of years.
So, Gabriela, automation, data, cloud, I mean, this digital transformation is enormous, right? So it's a huge, huge plan that you're working on. So how do you make sure that you have the right IT organization for that? How are you building, maybe restructuring your IT organization?
So when I joined Carrefour in 2020, I rebuilt the organization almost from totally.
Wow.
IT was, I wouldn't say disconnected from the business, but they were not so engaged in understanding what do they do, why they do. So I restructured the organization and I brought different profiles. How do we operate right now? My IT team is organized on business domains. So I have a team who is in charge with digital platforms, all the technology for the e-commerce, for the mobile app, for the customer service, for the social listening and so on. Basically all the customer interaction. The other team is in charge with store, supply chain and logistics, which is huge. So the technology for store, supply chain and logistics, they are the one working with the logistic director, with the store directors to understand what do they need and make the plan. The other team, which didn't exist before, is enterprise data and integration. That's another one that I created when I came. Cloud and infrastructure, cybersecurity as well is under my under IT. It's under my responsibility, and I also have data scientists, innovation, and the e-commerce is a different story. We have in-house architecture, enterprise solution architecture, so we own our future architecture. That wasn't the case before. We have IT project management, analysis, and so on. Development is still done outside by the partners, so we do not do yet development in-house, but hopefully that's gonna happen pretty soon.
And what is special is that you not only have the CIO role, but also the data role, which is, I mean, it's a big responsibility, getting all and organizing the data and coming to a data governance and unified business data model and so on, but also e-commerce. So the business, let's talk a little bit about your business role there as well. Why is that with you?
Well, I always wanted to do more on the business side. And I think I accepted the challenge on the e-commerce side because it's part of it is technology.
A big part of it.
A big part of it is technology. It's the platforms that we have, it's the integration, it's everything, right, that I knew. So I thought it's going to be a nice bridge for me to understand the business side of it. And I'm grateful to my boss and the CTO that they agreed with me taking the role. I started in January. It's a big stretch, learning a lot on a day-to-day basis. But you know what? It helped me put in perspective the importance of technology. It helped me think through, why do I invest in that? when do I invest in it? How do I balance what I ask from IT versus what I can provide from a business perspective?
Yeah.
And it's working so far. It's amazing. I mean, on top of Bringo that I mentioned to you, that we had launched in 2015 with 90 minutes delivery, we are now delivering in 60 minutes. Okay. And we have plans to expand that to 30 minutes and even quick commerce in the upcoming years, which is 15 minutes.
And how is that organized? Is that still done out of the local stores?
Yes.
If I do an e-commerce order, then it goes to a store and somebody does the picking
Yes.
in the store, or
Yes.
and then I can either do a pickup myself or you deliver at home.
It's we in Romania, clients are preferring delivery at home. We have the click and collect, so you can go in the store to take it, but more than 90% of the orders that we have in Bringo are home delivery in 90 minutes. And we recently reached 5 million order in Romania. That's with Bringo. It's almost 7% of our total business through Bringo. Okay. And we launched the partnership with Glovo this year because we wanted to be where the customers are. So we sell through Bringo, 90 minutes delivery, 60 minutes delivery, covering all the country. Yep. And we also sell through Glovo.
You have the role of CIO, data officer, e-commerce director, and you're there for over a year now.
Yes.
So where is your focus today? Where do you spend most of your time in further taking your role forward?
So I like to say that I do tech for business, not tech for tech, and bring value to the business through technology. Where do I spend most of my time is understanding how I can do that, speaking with the business, understanding the business processes, and bringing the technology, the efficient technology that will help that particular problem. And if I would have to say what is the other part, is spending time with my team. Spend a lot of time with my team to get to know them, to understand their motivations. Remember that we are a young team, right? So I'm not. Yep. I'm with Carrefour less than 2 years, and I rebuilt the team totally when I came. So 85% of my leadership team are less than a year in a role.
Okay. Now, there's not that many female CIOs around today. As when you started, you were one of the very few studying computer science, but even today, there's not that many. Is there something that you see as an advantage for you being a woman leading an IT team, and maybe some disadvantage? How do you look at that today?
I think today it becomes the new normal. And I was reading a study in Romania, and Romania it's doing well in regards with C-level leadership roles for women. Okay, it's good. One of the top 3 in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Very good. So it's good.
So you have strong women in
yes.
Romania.
Well, I think in the past it was a bit more difficult for me 20 years ago because I felt like I have to work harder, to prove harder, to be better,
to be accepted,
to be accepted within the male community. Today, no, I don't feel it. I think we are equal. And from time to time, I feel like also for the men, maybe it's not too fair, right? Because I realized when I was in London, in British American Tobacco, by speaking with some of my friends, that if you have 2 candidates for a CIO role, and one is male and one is woman, the woman will get the advantage. Yep. And I think it's not fair. I think we go a bit too extreme, right? Yep. In this gender equality. Yeah. It's about being competent and being the right fit for the role, not that you are a woman or a man. Yep.
But what's the situation in your teams today? So 16,000 people in Carrefour Romania. How many in IT in total?
Well, we are a little bit over 50.
Over 50. And so how inclusive are you gender-wise and so on in your teams?
You got me with this one. I don't have as many women as I would like.
Okay.
So it's, I would say it's 80% men.
Okay.
Or even 85. So as hopefully I will have the chance to grow my team more and in-source more technology talents, hopefully I will find more women in IT. But now I wouldn't say we are equally balanced. There is still work to be done.
So you explained how you have, what your operating model is and the different teams, more product oriented, around store, e-commerce, and so on and so on. What is your management style? How do you make sure that the different teams, that they're successful, that you attract the right people, that you can retain them? How would you describe your style?
So my style, first of all, as a manager, the management style is more like democratic, participative one. Mm-hmm. I do trust, empower, and listen my team a lot. I'm there for them when they need me all the time. Doesn't matter the hour of the day and so on and so forth. I'm there for them when they need me. I trust them a lot, really, that's key. And in terms of how do I attract, when I joined Carrefour and I hired tens of people in less than 3 months, actually, I was often being, how did you do it? How did you do it in such a competitive market during the pandemic where people would not want to make a change? Yeah. And I wanted the best talent on the market and I got them. So the truth is that people followed me. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the biggest achievements for me as a leader. Mm-hmm. I have people who came to work for me because I worked with them in the past. Okay. And they felt motivated and they grew with me and they followed me. So the reality is that in Carrefour, and I'm proud of it, I have people that I work with in Avon, in Vodafone, in British American Tobacco. And once they came, right, they also have their own people. Yeah. So it's through network. And I always believe that the world is small. And if you are a good leader, you motivate, you grow your team, they will follow you and they will come and work for you. And how do I keep them motivated? Because even though I knew some of them are new. Mm-hmm. My direct line is only men, right? They are very strong and smart. And when I build a team, I spend a lot of time to think through how they will complement each other, how they will work together, yeah. What is their each and every individual strength and weakness, and how they are going to grow as a team. Yeah. And I spend a lot of time on that. I spend a lot of time with them in the first months to get the dynamic going. And it's very important for me and for them, as far as I noticed so far, to create an environment of safe. They feel safe in the environment. They feel safe to speak up. They feel safe to, to express their needs, yep. Their weaknesses, and speak about solution. It's safety and trust in the team. It's a lot of safety and trust. It's a safe environment to speak, and they feel supported.
And if I would go to your team today and I would ask them to describe you, how do you think that they will describe you when you're not around? When yes.
So I'm pretty sure they will say I walk the talk. Mm-hmm. Every time I promise something, I will do it. I walk the talk. I have high energy. And I'm pretty sure they would say I act with integrity and respect. Okay. With them and with my business partners.
Gabriela, you have shared with us your MBTI profile. And you have come out as a consul, as an ESFJ. So you're extroverted, observant, feeling, and you have judging personality traits. And consuls, ESFJs, are typically attentive and people-focused. And they enjoy taking part in the social community. Their achievements are guided by decisive values, and they willingly offer guidance to others. So it's a typical management profile, I would say. And strengths of people with your profile is that they have strong practical skills. They have a strong sense of duty. They're typically very loyal. They're sensitive and warm. And they're good at connecting with others. Does that fit the bill?
It's spot on. You know, when I did the MBTI last week, it's been a while since I did it. I was, oh my God, this is insane. Indeed. I have a strong sense of duty. And I guess it comes from my childhood. As I was watching my father, I learned from him a lot. how passionate he was for his job, how seriously he took his job, irrespectively of the time in his life, in his experience. He would always prepare. He would always really take it seriously. So I think that's the moment when it started. I have a strong sense of duty, indeed. I'm good at connecting with others. It's true. And at work and outside work, I'm a very social person, and I get energy from people. Okay. For example, during the pandemic, it was okay, but I felt the burning need to be in the office, to feel the people around me, to get the energy, to see their reaction, their body language. So I get a lot of energy from people, and I do connect them. I always look at win-win situations, understand them, what motivates them, what frustrates them, and how can I connect them really. When you connect people towards a shared goal, it's amazing. Yes, I think on the weaknesses side...
Well, we'll come to the weaknesses in a moment.
Okay.
I'll do the weaknesses.
So yes, and loyal. I'm very loyal, indeed. I'm loyal to the company, to the leaders, and to my team, and to my business stakeholders as well. And building long-lasting relationship. Even today, I have people that are calling me. For example, when I was in New York and I built a team, right? A month ago, some of them, and it's 8 years, right? It's 8 years since then. And he called me and he said, Gabi, I have to talk to you. I'm going to make a change in my career. I need your advice. What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? I was, oh my God, this is like, it made me so happy to see that they value my friendship, my input, and we nurtured that relationship, beyond the time and beyond the ocean, right? Because they are on the US side.
And you still don't regret that you haven't followed your father's footstep and became a math teacher?
No, I didn't tell you that, but I tried. I finished university. I went to a high school in Bucharest for, I believe it was 2 months and a half.
2 months.
And I was 21. Okay. I had high school classes, and it was challenging, I have to admit. It was challenging. The age difference
was only a couple of years.
It was 3 years difference. It was 3 years difference, right? I had, we were basically almost the same age, and I took my job seriously. I was passionate about math. And I said, you know what, this is not for me. I have to do something else, really.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about weaknesses of the console. Or let's say areas of development, potential areas of development of people with your personality are that sometimes they're worried about their social status. They can sometimes be inflexible, reluctant to innovate or to improvise, vulnerable for criticism, sometimes too needy, too selfless. Where do you recognize? What are your areas of development and how have you approached them?
Yes, it is related with the social part that you just mentioned. I am conflict averse.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to get in conflicts with people. And, healthy conflicts are good. But because of that, I have to manage the way I react to conflicts. Because in the past, I used to avoid conflicts, and I will leave it to the point where
it starts to rot.
It starts to rot, so it's going to be a big conflict, right? Yeah. I don't do that anymore. I manage conflicts. I still don't like to get in conflicts with people, and it gets a lot of my energy inside, right? It takes a lot of energy for me to have a conflict with someone because I just, that's my nature. And the other one is, I tend to take too much care of people and I forget about my needs.
Too selfless.
So indeed, about my team, about my job, about the sense of duty at home, in the office.
You have to take care of yourself.
So yes, I have to take care of myself and express my needs more. I don't do it. I tend to forget about it.
If we had to summarize all this, what is it that really, in your personal life, in your professional life, what is it that really drives you? When at the end of the week are you happy?
I'm happy when I'm of value to business or to someone, and I make an impact in, in someone's life, or I help someone to succeed, or I help someone to fix a problem. That really what drives me, yeah. To be of value to someone or to something.
Yep. Okay. You have a daughter, 7 years old.
Yeah.
So what is it that you pass on to her? What are the core values that you yourself live by and that you want to give?
There are two really that are my core values, respect and integrity. And the third I will want to teach her, and I do already, is not to take anything for granted, really. Work for it and value what you have. Yeah. Because these days I realize that with so much around, right? Yeah. Kids tend to get things for granted. It's not good. You have to understand that you have to work for it and value what you have. So respect integrity and don't take anything for granted. Work for it.
Okay. Do you have a personal mantra, Gabriela?
I do. It's I'll tell you my personal mantra. I don't know if you'll recognize it, but it's actually from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
From the Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's from Jack Sparrow, and I love it actually. It's simple, but I find it deep and it helps me on a day-to-day basis. So it says, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
That's what Jack Sparrow said?
Yes.
Wow. And how do you interpret
that? So it's a lot about how you react to the problem that you face with, right? Yeah. Very often the problem is not the problem itself, it's something else. It's how you react to it, or you have to take a step back and think through, is that the problem really? Yeah. So yeah, it's I like it because it's also a bit funny because the Jack Sparrow character and so on, but it's simple and deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that makes me think about you shared that you lived, what was it, 2 years in New York, yeah. And that was some of the best professional and personal time of your life. Why? What's so special about living in New York?
I think it's how I got there. And what I achieved, despite the challenges I had. Yep. So I'll tell you the story. It was December, and my boss, and actually it's my mentor, I'll speak about him. He called me and he said, "Gabi, there is a role in New York. Would you like to take it?" It was before Christmas. I said yes. I didn't ask any question. What is the role about? How long it's gonna be? What do I have to do there? What do I have to know in order to be successful in the role, right? So I said, yeah. I moved to New York. I got there in January. I find there a team with zero motivation, a project which was delayed more than 1 year, and we had 7 months to make it happen.
Wow.
Right? And also it was a different culture. It was a totally different country, a totally different, oh my God. And I didn't know the mobile technology. It was 2013 when I had to develop mobile apps for the Avon world. So I said, wow, what am I gonna do? We had to go live on 27th of July. I will never forget that. It was January, 3rd of January when I moved. So no team, delayed 1 year. The project was committed to the Wall Street.
Oh.
Right, it was part of the digital transformation. So yeah, I didn't know where to start really, but the aha moment was when my previous leader, he came to New York and he said, "What's wrong, Gabi? If there is anyone that can make this project happen, it's you. I'm sure you're gonna make it." I was like, there is no way I'm gonna disappoint Bob. So yeah, that year actually, it's not only that we managed to get the project back on track. I picked my battles with the people. There were some of the team members that no one believed in. I picked my battles with them. I gave them a shared goal, a purpose. I told them we are gonna go live in July, and the second market we are gonna go live with, and the third is gonna be zero defects in UAT. They looked at me and they said, "Wow, what is this lady speaking about?" They said, "No, this is not possible." I said, "Guys, it's possible." So after 7 months, we were celebrating success together. We launched the first country. And it was against the clock, really. I was on the flight, and it was the time when, the Google store will approve the bill. In the morning, there was a big investors call, so the application had to be in the store, and we made it. It was at 6 a.m. It was approved. At 9 a.m. New York time, the investors call will start. Yes, and that year we overachieved. We delivered more markets than we planned, and the second year, actually, after my second year, I left, and I promoted one of the team members that I trusted from the day one, since I arrived in New York. And I left, and I watched the team one more year from Romania, and they were one of the best delivery teams in the group.
Wow.
And the guy I promoted, he did a better job than I did, and I was very proud. Watching him doing a better job than I did, it made my heart full of joy. Really.
Yeah.
I think leaders create leaders and followers, and that's why I think it was
Quite a turnaround story.
An experience that I will value for the rest of my life.
You talked about that manager there being one of your mentors.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about the different mentors and important people that you had in your career.
Yeah, I have 3. It's my dad, first of all, that I mentioned a couple of times. Math teacher. I wanted to study math because of him. When I was 4, it's funny, I used to follow him at school. So he would teach in front of the pupils, right? I used to follow him and just stay there quietly and observe and listen and so on. So that was the time when I said, I'm going to be a math teacher. I'm going to follow him, right? And why? Because he loved his job. You could see the passion he's been putting in. He always worked hard. And he was not an easy math teacher, right? You cannot find easy math teacher. He was quite tough. But people would love him because he had good results and he had charisma. And then it's Bob. I met him in Avon. He was my leader and my mentor for many years. He believed in me more than I did. I had moments when I thought, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not able to do this. And he had that power, that empathy, that experience of finding what motivates you, what drives you, take the best out of you. And I owe him a lot from my leadership style. And even today I speak with him. He retired, and we speak every time, and he cares about me. I moved to London in a different company. He called me. That's what I'm trying to do for my team as well. And last but not least is really my husband. Without his support, he followed me to New York. He left his job. Then we had a child. He followed me to London. He left his job to take care of my daughter so that I could have a career. Yep. And big impact in my life from him as well.
You talked about, Gabi, passion and that your father was very passionate teaching math, and you're clearly very passionate yourself in your work and with your daughter and your family and so on. What are the, besides family, what are really your personal passions outside of work?
I mentioned music. I played violin as a child.
Wow.
But you know why? It's because I was born during the communists, right? And my father was a rebel. He wanted to live outside Romania. He couldn't back then. You didn't have the choice, right? You didn't have the choice. And he said, I have 2 daughters, twins. What can I do for them so they can have chances to leave Romania at some point in time? And it was really gymnastics or music. So he bought us violins, and I started to play violin. He was thinking that I'll get in an orchestra and then I'll get out of Romania.
Oh, yeah, that was the plan.
That was the plan. So yes, I played violin, and it's since then when I started to love music. It creates a lot of discipline, and I love music. And it's not like I love classic music, really. I turned into more like classic rock music. But I love to go to concerts. I love music. There is there isn't one single day without music in my life.
So for that, New York and London must have been
Yes,
excellent.
yeah, excellent, excellent. I went to all the possible concerts and, live music and so on. Yes, exactly.
So Gabi, you have made a lot of success in different companies, but we all make our mistakes. We all have our failures. So would you care sharing with us what was your most brilliant failure and what did you learn from it?
It's interesting because I can smile about it right now. At least I can smile about it right now. And I had a brilliant failure, as I call it, right? And you know what? It was my first 3 months in Vodafone. So I left Avon after a very successful career, being used with a leadership style. I didn't do my research about what it really means to change the role, what it really means to have a different culture, to adapt a different to a different culture, right? And what is really that you have to do in your first 3 months when you land in a company. I was clueless. So I landed in Vodafone, and for the first 3 months, I really didn't take the time to understand what's going on around me, to understand my boss, style and expectation, politics, people, culture, and so on. So I jumped directly into, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. It didn't work.
I know.
And the way you position what you do in the first 3 months,
super important.
It's super important. I failed. I failed, and even though after I tried to recover, right? It's hard. So I think it's very, very important when you make a change, especially after so many years in a company with a certain leadership style, to do your research as to where do you go? Do you resonate with the value of those companies? And if not, yes, what do you do in the first 3 months? Make a plan for your first 3 months, which I didn't. I didn't in Vodafone, and telecom is insanely beautiful but tough in the same time.
Okay. I mean, that's a brilliant learning, no?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Okay.
And I used the learning as I landed in Carrefour. I didn't do the same mistake again. On the contrary, I took it to perfection, so to say.
So your past teams can call you if they take a new job on how to do this. Looking back at your complete professional, but certainly personal life, what is the one thing that you would consider was the best thing that has ever happened?
I think it's going to sound, probably you hear this a lot. It's really my daughter. The arrival of my daughter. I was 37.
How did that change you?
Well, I started to understand even more my parents. I realized the joy they have when my daughter arrived. And I also understood how important it is to be patient and curious and learn. Watching a kid growing, right, and the curiosity they have and the way they look at life and enjoy the little things, it's amazing. So I think those were the big 3 things.
And did it change you as well as a leader and as a manager? This experience of bringing a daughter and bringing new life in life?
Interestingly, no. No, indeed. I mean, no one asked me this question, and I didn't think about it. But no, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No. I was compassionate. I had high empathy before. And I cared about people as well. So I think it's it's more or less the same.
Okay.
More or less the same, yeah.
So that was the best thing that ever happened.
The best thing that ever happened,
so
indeed.
Let's look at the other extreme. And in your personal life, if you would care to share it with us, what was the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And what did you learn from that?
I think it's still related with Vodafone. Right? Because after those first 3 months, I did a lot of effort in compensating and working extra hours to prove myself. And remember I told you I lose sight of my needs? Well, back then I couldn't even feel when I was physically ill. I was so tired of the effort mentally and physical that I would do that. I was so tired. And I remember around September, I came home, my daughter was 3, and she would barely, I mean, she was speaking, but she was like, imagine a little, and she knew and she said, Mommy, why are you always so sad?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until that moment. I didn't realize that. And that was the point where I said to myself, I'm not going to do this to myself or to my daughter. But I did it for the first 9 months in the role, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that was the moment, the worst thing, yeah.
But a big learning as well.
Big learning, totally.
To take care of yourself. And
yes, big learning. And
so you clearly love your family a lot. What is that you fear most in your life?
I don't have a lot of fears, but I think it's, I would say maybe getting old and lazy. Not getting old, but lazy.
Your fear is to become lazy.
Yeah, like I watch, different friends of my parents and my husband's parents, right? Uh-huh. And it's amazing the difference when you see people who are not, I mean, literally, right? They don't use their brain, they don't do physical activity, they become lazy because they retire, right? And they get older so much faster than the other ones which are active. So I think I keep saying to myself, when I will retire, really, I don't want to become lazy. I need to stay active. I don't know how am I going to do it, but that's one of the fears, that I will retire and I'll, what do I do not to be lazy and keep my mind and my body active?
Okay. Well, maybe that's something that you have to learn.
Yes.
To become lazy and to take time for yourself and to relax. And so maybe that's one of your development
insight.
Areas.
Yes.
So Gabi, these videos are watched by many people around the globe. And a part of them are young, ambitious, future digital leaders. People that have the ambition to follow in your footsteps and become the CIO of a global company, of a big brand, a big organization. What is the advice that you would give to them? Or what would the advice that you would give to yourself when you started in your career? What are your main learnings that you could pass on to the next generation?
So my advice is to find their passion, work hard for it, and value themselves. If they value themselves, the other will as well.
Okay. On that note, Gabi, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure being here with you. And I wish you a lot of success in your career. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.